Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Big Chief channel. Joining you today is myself, your host, Aaron Lee, as well as a very familiar face, none other than Azizan himself. Welcome in, Azizan. How's it going today?
Thank you, thank you. Very good, very good. How everyone? How Aaron?
How, everyone? Azizan, how's your week been?
Our week has been quite interesting,
Interesting.
enjoyable. I had my two grandsons coming to visit us, so
Very nice.
that's good. That's good.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I hope that you did not have to deal with any toxic employees throughout the last week.
No, no. I had fun with my grandsons.
Very good, very good. But I'm sure that those of our viewers who are watching, I'm sure that there are at least some of our viewers that unfortunately have to deal with people, toxic employees, either
Yeah.
within the company or their own company. And maybe we
Right,
can
right,
remind
right,
our
right, right,
viewers about
right, right.
why toxic employees, why we should weed out toxic employees as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's very, very important because number one, we need to understand, guys. It's not everyone that has problems every day. Sometimes employees they have a day which everything is wrong for them. Everything does not work. So it's one off. But what we're trying to do is to make sure that those people who are consistently underperforming, consistently getting to our nerves. So that is
Mm-hmm.
the kind of individuals that we want to encourage to leave the organization. Yeah, encourage to leave your organization. But it takes a lot of effort, guys. Yeah, it takes a lot of effort. And also, we must make sure that we consult our human resource department. These guys, they know the law, and because
Right.
directly asking people to leave is not only unethical, but it's also illegal. Yeah, it's
You can
illegal.
get sued.
So yeah, so you must, that even though you have strong reasons, but you need to make sure that you use all the avenues that you have within the confines of the law,
Right.
to
You gotta have
work things out.
finesse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You need to have the wisdom,
The
to
wisdom.
get people to sign a letter of resignation and ask them to leave legally. Very important,
Legally.
legally. Yeah,
Right,
legally.
right, right.
Right,
Right, right,
right,
right.
right. So
And
it's very,
I
very
think
important.
that's right. I think last week we covered quite a few points. Of those points is like I believe it was you have to confront them, tighten deadlines of projects. You have
Yes,
what else?
yes, yes.
Micromanage and tighten
Micromanage.
their freedom.
Yeah,
Tighten
tighten
their
the
freedom.
freedom, tighten the freedom. If your organization allows all the social media, restrict all the social media.
Right, right.
Get all get everyone who is the underperformer, get everyone who is a problem employee to sit close together, so they know,
Hmm.
they can rank within themselves. Who is the worst of the lot then, and then we can try to get rid of the worst lah,
And you can
the worst of the
streamline your
employees.
gaze. When you look in
Yeah,
one
right,
corner,
right, right,
all
right.
of them also kena.
So right. So micromanaging is very important, guys. It's not just trying to improve them to work, but it's also saying that I'm concerned about you, and I want to help you as much as I can. But
Of course.
these are things that I need to do, and if you cannot bear with what I'm doing now, there are three rules of management, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Three rules of management. Number one is the boss is always right. Or people will start punching me and say, hey, listen, boss is never right. Rule number two is if boss is wrong, refer back to rule number one. Yeah. And the third rule, guys, is my way or the highway. I'm the boss, so my way or the highway.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
So, but sometimes it's not that easy. Lah. It's not that easy. So you must make sure that you understand the law. You
Of
always discuss it
course.
with your peers, with your other managers, so that
That's right.
any action taken, by the end of the day, action taken is legally defensible. Very important that word. Legally
Legally.
defensible. Yeah, legally
You don't want to
defensible.
get in trouble for the sake of your company, right?
We don't want to get into trouble. We don't want to get into trouble. But then again, guys, sometimes signs that your boss wants to fire you,
Mm.
signs that your boss wants to get rid of you. There are times when companies decide to cut loose some of their employees, guys, yeah, from the company. The reasons could be many. Some of the reasons, like cost cutting methods, yeah, cost cutting exercises that they are doing, lower productivity, they have to do something. It's not an opportunity. I had to do a very, very sad thing when I was working. I had to immediately terminate about 400 employees, yeah, in one day, yeah,
Oh my goodness.
because of the low productivity, or because of the low orders that we have, yeah. And also, signs that your boss wants to fire you because underperforming, and
Yeah.
sometimes discipline, behavior issues, and
Right.
not following company policies. Those are some of the things that the companies will take action to get rid of you, lah, so to say, lah. Yeah, but then again, it must be within the confines of the law. Very
Right, of
important,
course.
right?
And you mentioned
So,
that there are a lot of signs, right? What are the common
right.
signs we as an employee, right? I mean, as an employer, it's easier for us to think about it, but as an employee, you're so busy with your work, you're looking at
Right,
different
right,
things. How
right,
do you
right.
even know that my boss is actually trying to fire me because I'm so focused on so many things, you know?
Okay, number one is look at your performance. Why is your boss so focused on you? How is
Mm.
your performance? Is your performance consistently below, consistently out of the range of the average? If you are consistently below average, then people, not only your boss, but I think your team members would also have problems working with you. Yeah.
So all of a
And
sudden, everyone is like looking at me like, oh my goodness.
yes, 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 yes. Then look at yourself, guys. Look at yourself. Why is your boss uh, is looking at you all the time? Is micromanaging you? It's not about trying to improve, but also it's making sure that you try to follow what is being required by your job. So it's very, very important. So
That's
that's why
right.
bosses, they don't have time to focus on a particular employee, and it's all about working as a team. But if they have to, they have to. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
managers, they are trained to deal with such employees lah. Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
so very
It
important.
is. It is unfortunate, but it is how it
Mm.
is.
It
So
is necessary.
yeah, it is necessary. So let's move back to
Yeah,
the employer perspective. So what are the other ways?
yeah,
Because last week we covered three, but within those three, there's
right,
so
right.
many different ways to do the tree. But this week, what
Okay.
do you have in store for us?
Okay, basically, we talked about putting pressure on employees. The other thing that we can do is also stop sending the employees for training. Yeah,
Oh.
focus on the counseling of these employees. Yeah, training is something that they may not be able to benefit much, because we probably want to work on their performance. Number one is probably, the other thing is looking at their discipline or behavior. There's something. So put training aside. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
put training aside. And sometimes managers, sometimes employees, they call managers quite frequently. So if you have a person, this is not for everyone. This is for the worst of the lot. Yeah, the person calls you on your phone or WhatsApp you. Don't be available for their calls.
Mm.
Purposely, don't be available. Only answer once a while, but not all the time. Yeah, so you want to make sure that they understand you are trying to keep the distance. Yeah, try avoid personal calls and do not be available at all times. Yeah, and also the other thing is leave them out of the team loop. Leave them out of the team loop. Yeah, every team in our organization will have some procedure of having group emails or team meetings held often. One simple way to make an employee to resign is to ignore group emails or can be left out of their team meetings. This will bring an insecure feel and make them
Right.
think about their relevancy in the organization, in the team. And of course, guys, the other thing is no promotion or rewards. No promotion or rewards. You know, some managers, despite employees not performing, they gave them bonuses. They gave them increment. Yeah,
Really?
guys, that would be a very negative way of treating a bad employee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're incentivizing their behavior.
Yes, yes, yes. And also make sure you you give them indirect comments about their work in front of everyone, in front of the team.
Haha.
Ask for an open presentation in front of the team. Yeah, for example, Ajizan, can you update me and the team tomorrow on what you have been doing on this project? Yeah, let's do it in the conference room, and I will invite the CEO or I will invite some other managers that is related to the project to be in that meeting, and we'll see how that person will scramble. Yeah, and also it's all about sometimes is we want to make sure that employees trust managers, but sometimes because of what they have done, the trust has become thinning. Yeah? The trust is very difficult to have right now because of whether they are reliable or not. So it's very important that we try to establish trust, but sometimes the trust has already been negatively affected.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, and of course, guys, yeah, uh, keep them out of all the other team activities, lah. Yeah, keep them out of the other team activities. Guys, remember, this is not just a person who is having a day off. Yeah, this is consistently, who is underperforming,
Right.
consistently giving problems to the organization, consistently giving problem with regards to discipline. It's not just someone who's having a day off. So this day off is something that is excusable, that is acceptable, given the situation that they are in. For example, we have employees who may be late because of traffic jams, but they can be late because of traffic jam, but not consistently late.
That's
Yeah,
right.
not late every day. So it's very important. Yeah,
That's right.
and eventually, if you still cannot control them, talk to the human resource department. Talk to the human resource department. Yeah, unless and until they do not quit on their own, you can use a strategy of approaching the human resource department to talk on behalf of you, or also you can ask them to do a review analysis of the performance. Sometimes what I do is I call it performance tracking.
Right.
Yeah, performance tracking, very important.
I've seen some
So
companies, they do like what's it called, like a leaderboard for the latest employee of the month.
that, that is something. That is something.
So they put it, they have a billboard, and every month they put the accumulation of how many hours you are late or how many minutes you're late. So the top one and second one, you can see throughout the billboard.
Oh wow. Wow, that is something. That is something. You know, in one organization that I know, when we are still using these punch cards,
Yeah,
when an
yeah.
employee is late 3 times in a month, yeah,
Hmm.
minimum 3 times in a month, and the punch card turns is being changed by HR from blue to red.
Ooh.
So
Scary.
everybody, punch cards are all put into a slot in the
Yeah,
wall of the office. And
yeah.
if someone sees, hey, Azizan's punch card is already red, so it's sort of like putting pressure lah, on the individual.
Ah,
Yeah,
I
putting
see, I
pressure on the
see.
individual.
Right, right.
So it's a very important, guys. But basically, also, there is interesting. Sometimes employees leave organization. Good employees leave organization. This is something that we don't want to happen. And we want
Mm-hmm.
employees who are talented, who are good employees, to stay with the organization. You want to make sure that you retain your talent as long as
Mm-hmm.
you can. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they still leave you. They still leave the organization. Yeah. Sometimes they leave organization. It's not just organization. They say they leave the boss.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
They leave the boss. Yeah. The supervisor and so forth. There's an interesting survey, but so far there's no survey in Malaysia. A survey
Mm-hmm.
that I can pick up in the US. The survey
Right.
by I think this is by Forbes. Survey by Forbes
Ah.
of 2,202 employees. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
2,200 employees say the top five reasons for them to leave the job and then to say that they take this job. They told directly to the boss, take this job and shove it. Yeah. Top five
Oh,
reasons. Top five. Sorry for the word lah, but this is actually what the survey says. Take this job
right.
and shove it. You know, Number one, people leave organization because of the toxic company culture. The toxic
Mm.
company culture. Yeah. Number two, because of low salary. Yeah, low
Mm.
salary. A toxic company culture is 62%, guys.
Wow.
62%, the highest. Yeah, highest. Yeah, and when you talked about toxic company culture, what is toxic culture? It's based on some reviews. Employees say the following description of toxic culture, work culture, is non-inclusive, where members
Mm.
are not updated, members are not uh, engaged across gender, race, culture, sexual identity, and orientation. And
Mm-hmm.
also sometimes there are biases in terms of identity, of disability and age. Yeah, sometimes we are
Mm.
biased towards disability and biased towards age, biased towards education, and also they feel that they are treated unfairly, unwelcome, or included in key decisions. So it's very important, guys. You need to understand that what toxic company cultures are. There are many different types of activities or actions that is being done, but 62% is people leave organization because of the toxic culture. 62%. Low
Mm-hmm.
salary, 59%. Low salary,
Hmm.
59%. So your salary, guys, must be competitive with the market. Must be
Right.
competitive in the market. If the government says the salary, basic salary is like 1,500 now, yeah, basic salary. If you are paying it, you think so 1,450 is enough? No. People will always say that company pays 50 ringgit more, and I'm going to that company.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course.
So same goes with the other levels, the executive and managers. Guys, the lifespan of an engineer and a professional, the accountant in one organization used to be 3 years, the lifespan
Ooh,
in
three
one
years. Okay.
organization, professional, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now is half of that, 18
Half of
months,
that.
half
Wow,
of that. Yeah,
that is a
yeah.
drastic change.
Drastic change because now the different generations that we are working in. Yeah,
Of
we have
course.
different generations within our workforce.
Mm-hmm.
The millennial, they are very fast. Millennial, they like to explore new things.
Yeah.
uh, Work cannot be so routine. They like to
Yeah.
explore. Yeah, so you need to make sure you understand. Just
That's
like
right.
uh, we used to have, yes, we used to have handphones, but only SMS. Now we have many very different things, social media and so forth. So they are open to a lot of opportunities, guys. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So that's number two, low salary. Number three is, which is 56%, is bad management or poor management. Yeah, poor
Oh.
management. Yes, very important that you manage your people effectively. Try to understand what their needs are in terms of training, in terms of development, in terms of career. Also, it's very important. Some people leave organization because they don't see a clear career in front of them. It's
Right.
not just about job. You're not just giving jobs out, but you are providing a career. So very important. Yeah, very important. The other thing that the employees look for everyone, regardless of category, is
Mm-hmm.
to have work-life balance. Yeah,
Mm.
it's work-life balance, guys. Every day we are in the traffic jam at least 2 hours. 1 hour
Yep.
going to work and 1 hour coming back to work.
Yep.
Then we have to face the toxic office culture. Yeah, the next 7 8 hours of office culture. The only break that we have is during lunch, the 1 hour
Mm-hmm.
lunch. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then we go back, facing the jam. So these are some of the things that we need to ease on the stress that we face. Yeah, so organization, we 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 stay 8 hours in companies, in organization. We want to make sure that organization treat us well in terms
Yep.
of life balance. That's why companies, they have team building, they have all these activities, family day lah, annual
Right.
dinner lah, yeah, to balance that out.
Right.
Yeah, balance that
Right.
out.
But I think
So
a lot of companies they how to say they kind of misunderstand the point of family day and all that kind of thing because
mm,
they try to incentivize that all of our a family culture within the office, and a lot of the times it just turns sour.
yeah, because most of the time, so all managers, I would say all managers, the old school, they
Hmm.
only think about money. To
Hmm.
have all these activities, the first thing they ask is, how much are we going to spend on annual dinner? How much are we going to spend on family day? Guys,
Mm.
at the beginning of the year or the year before, the end of the year, we allocate the budget. Allocate the
Yeah.
budget lah, simple things, have annual dinner, everybody let loose, everybody, relax, have fun. So this is
Hmm.
very important, very important. To get the family together is another any activity that can increase the motivation, the morale of the employees within the organization. But if
Mm.
everybody, facing the jam is stressful, then working 8 hours is stressful, and going back home late is also very stressful. And everybody is looking for retirement now, if possible.
That's right. That's
When
right.
how many years until I get my EPF and so forth? So
Yep.
it may take a long time, and
Yeah.
that's why we need to understand why people leave organization.
Hmm. Hmm.
Why managers? Why key people? Yeah, that we cannot retain them. Yeah, there are many
Yeah.
surveys on how to retain, how to engage, and how to attract these people. But that's maybe another day we'll talk about the
Yeah.
the, 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 the how to attract, retain, and also engage people working with us. But
Hmm.
today it's all about working with employees who are not performing and how
Hmm.
to handle them legally. Yeah, how to handle them
Legally.
legally, and also, as managers, we need to understand that sometimes people have problems because of how we manage them. Yeah, how we
Yeah.
manage them. Yeah, so we need to understand the real meaning of management, leadership, lah, to say. Yeah,
Right. There's
real
actually a
leadership.
lot to think about, yeah. It's not as simple as just one answer to solve everything. There's so many things to think about. This from the employee's perspective, from the manager's perspective, from the boss's
Right,
perspective. Yeah, so many
right.
things. But
Right, 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 right.
how would you wrap everything all together as we uh, and encroach the end of the show today?
Basically, guys, is one is everybody is human.
Yeah,
We are human. Everybody is different. Yeah, we have to accept that everyone in the organization are different. So we need to adjust ourselves to these different individuals within our organization and try to understand it. Yeah, why different? Because we come from different culture, we come from different background, we come from different education level, also age. So people are very sensitive. Yeah, getting good employees or a team member is not easy. It's not easy.
mm,
But even a single unworthy employee will affect the entire team. Yeah,
that's right.
affect the entire team. You have 1,000 employees. One employee who is unworthy, one employee who is a problem employee, it affects the whole team.
Yep.
More than the underperformer, managers are put under pressure to react as fast as possible and take steps against them. Even though the methods are not sometimes a moral way, but there is no other good way to do
Yeah,
so for the entire team. So
there's
but we
pressure
must act.
everywhere.
We must act within the law. Hope there's some of the tips that you've heard the last 2 weeks. Yeah, will give you some ideas. Nah, but always
Mm,
check with the HR department.
of course,
Or
of
you can
course.
check with us also lah.
Yes, yes, yes. So if you guys have any questions, do give us a message. But if not, then without further ado, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in, especially those of you in the chat, Michael, as well as Christine, Andrew Richards as well from YouTube. No, another thing is that. Is our obligation to let you know that if you enjoyed the show, please do consider to subscribe, like, and share. We hope you have a lovely day ahead, and we are live every weekday at 8:30 GMT plus 8. So, without further ado, hope you have a lovely day ahead wherever you are in the big wide world. And how, everyone? Bye bye.
Bye bye.